Alright, 544, July 28th. Trying plus Stoicism plus detachment. I don't really know how I'm gonna title this, so it's just a combination of all of those. I don't have too much to say on the trying side, but I do have a little bit to share about how I felt like at certain points I felt like it was a weakness when it came to like emotional stuff or anything psychological. For anything like physical, I kind of knew you kind of had to try, stuff like the gym or playing sports. I kind of knew I already had to like physically exert myself and everything. But like when things like really caused me to exert myself mentally, I felt like I kind of withdrew from them sometimes. Even with something as simple and risk-free as like video games, I found myself like distancing myself away from games that I felt like challenged me a little too much. And maybe I think a lot of gamers do that somewhat. Like, you're not gonna play a game that you feel like you're getting fucked up on all the time. But it's like either it's me just being weird, but I think it could also just be kind of a subtle testament to like how we can build up this illusion that we shouldn't have to try in certain things. Like certain things should just come easily to us, or it's not worth doing. And I feel like as a collective, as people, we have that phrase of it's just not for me. And I think it's very valid in a lot of cases, but sometimes I feel like we can use that as like a way to avoid the grind, if you want to call it that. Like, we want to avoid the hardship. We don't want to get good at the thing that we're avoiding, so we're just going to say that it's not for us. But again, it's on a situation by situation basis. You have to see for yourself if that's what you're doing. But yeah, it could be because of peer pressure or our own beliefs or something, but regardless, it's there on some level and in some people, namely myself. At the very least, in the past, I don't think I've dealt with it too much recently, but it's so subtle that I feel like you could be dealing with it and not even realize it. Like, you have to bring yourself to an awareness level of it. But onto Stoicism and the dichotomy of control and how it leads to detachment, and how detachment kind of leads back to Stoicism as well. It's a weird formula. Alright, so you've done the trying part, so success, and I mean that literally, because I think trying is the real success. Like, that's all you really can do. Whether the outcome is a win or a loss, that's not really up to you, which is the whole being of detachment, or the law of detachment. Alright, the first instances of Stoicism and the formula, if you want to call it that, is bearing the process, and then also the dichotomy of control. Bearing the process, very simple. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy, which is why we're talking about it in the first place. It requires you to have some level of stoicism if it's a hard challenge to get through. But again, very simple. Just making sure that you complete it, making sure that you gave the effort, the right effort, if you want to call it that, which reminds me of Buddhism, the whole eightfold path. But keeping in mind that the right effort can be actually doing something, and also sometimes just no effort, removing yourself from a problem, knowing it's a problem, but knowing that realistically there's nothing you can really do about it, which would fall under the no control side of the dichotomy of control. I also think it's worth mentioning that you kind of have to be really sure, or mostly sure, about what you're putting in each box. Like, you don't want to be convincing yourself that something is out of your control or out of your influence when it's really not, and you don't want to be acting as if something is in your control when it isn't. And I think that's a cause for a lot of unhappiness as well. But yeah, I just think that's really key to keep in mind day to day and in your smallest to your biggest challenges. So now, regarding the layout of the dichotomy of control, you have the things that you do have full control over: your actions, your intentional thoughts, your belief systems and all that, what you say, if I haven't already listed that. You have the things that you can kind of influence, which is like social situations, how they play out, because you can control how you show up and what you do in the social situation. but you can't control how it's perceived or how it's taken, and what kind of person the other person is, how people might be affected by what you say or do, and all that. And then you have the things that you just cannot control, like I don't know, something random like the weather. So as you're going through life, you're noticing the things that you can control, the things that you can influence, what you can't control, and it helps you to avoid overwhelming yourself on the things that you can't control, and to also limit your complaining and procrastinating on the things that you can control and influence. Then once you've mastered going about life in that way, seeing things like that, then you reach that detachment stage where you've put in your effort or your intentional no effort, and you're sitting back and allowing the outcome or the results to be what they're going to be. At that stage, you know you've done what you were supposed to do, or you didn't do what you weren't supposed to do. And you can be at peace with yourself knowing that you gave the right effort by trying or removing yourself. And then you're at the resolution phase where you see how everything plays out. So you either won the situation, which is a success for you, whatever a win might mean in that situation, and of course you appreciate those. You lose the situation, which can be a lesson, or at the very least, whatever situation you lose, again, however way you lose it, whatever the loss is, you build tolerance for pain and whatever other emotions you might be going through in that loss, which is where that last bit of stoicism comes into play. It's not needed or preferred in the case that you win, but we all end up taking the L sometimes. So in the event of the L, again, you can rest assured knowing that you did your part. And at that point, it's no longer in your influence, it's no longer in your control, or it never was in the first place, potentially depending on the situation. And you can stop worrying about it because you don't have a role in it at all. Any more needless energy or negative talk surrounding the matter will just bring you down, maybe bring others down around you. So from there, I think the job is finished.